Making My Way by Dragoness Bahamut. We found only one other book that had information on Muse. It was called Pokemon of Myth and Legend. It was organized somewhat like a Pokédex, only it was in book form. The thing that scared me was that the book was over 200-something years old, and Muse were already considered to be mythical back then. The excerpt on Muse was near the back. There were some other Pokemon that I'd heard of before in there, like Moltres, Zapdos, Articuno, Gyarados, Eevee, and all of the stone evolutions in fact, except it didn't mention anything about Clefairy or Jigglypuff or the Nidorans. There were also ones I was completely unfamiliar with, like Lugia, Espeon, Umbreon. I did recognize one other one, Ho-Oh, the bird I'd seen when I'd left Pallet. Pikachu recognized it too, even though the picture was a little different from the actual bird. There was a lot of information in every Pokemon entry, so that made the book really thick. "We're never gonna finish this in one sitting," I said. "You're probably right," Mayo admitted. "Do you think he'll let us borrow this?" I asked. "Of course he will," Mayo winked. "Come on, let's go ask him. And then we'll ask if I can get a starter Pokemon." Mayo, wouldn't it be better to ask for one thing at a time?" "Oh, come on, Asha. He's my grandpa. He's not gonna let me have what I want." That was a very confusing sentence. I decided not to argue with it. He let us keep the book. The only thing that was preventing us from leaving right away was Mayo's stubbornness. "Grandpa, I know I can handle a Pikachu. Please?" Why does she want a Pikachu so badly anyway? "I'm sorry, May, but Ash only got his Pikachu on a special condition. If you... Asha, tell Grandpa that I can handle a Pikachu. If it'll get us out of here." "She can probably handle a Pikachu." "Ash," Professor Oak began. "If she wants a Pikachu, I don't see why you can't give her one. Everyone else got a choice. Why can't she?" Professor Oak sighed. "Kids these days. All right, May, come here." He walked away from the table that we were all standing around and opened up a cabinet on the far wall. Inside were 2 Pokeballs. "May, inside one of these Pokeballs is a Pikachu. I'm not going to tell you which one. You get to keep whichever one you choose." She gulped and looked back and forth at the Pokeballs. I could tell that she really wanted the Pikachu. I tried to figure out for myself which one had a Pikachu in it. On the outside, they looked exactly the same, but on the inside... Mayo picked up the one on the right. The Pikachu was the one on the left. Professor Oak smiled. "So, May, why don't you show us all the Pokemon you got?" Okay, let's see, oh, I know! Pokemon, go!" She kind of half threw, half dropped the Pokeball. She couldn't really throw without hitting someone. There was a brilliant flash of light, and we all saw a tiny brown Pokemon with big ears, a big tail, and a big fluffy mane. What's that?" Mayo asked. "That's an Eevee," Professor Oak told her. "It's known as the evolution Pokemon, because it has the ability to evolve into 3 types of Pokemon using evolution stones." May stared at her new Pokemon. Anyone could see how disappointed she was, except for the Eevee. It cried out and jumped into her arms. I gawked. "Hey, why didn't you do that when we first met, Pikachu?" I asked. "I didn't like you," said Pikachu. "Ugh." "Here, May," Professor Oak said. "A Pokédex and Pokeballs. You're now ready to start your journey." Thanks," she said, taking it from him. "Eevee seems to really like you, May," he said with a smile. "Yeah." "So let's get going?" I asked. "Sure," Mayo said. Mayo went home with her new Eevee, and I went home with my new book. That amazed Mom. "Ash, what's that?" she asked when she saw me carrying it in the door. I closed the door behind me, transformed, then fell to the ground because of the weight of the book. The book," I answered. "I know that, but why do you have it?" "I'm gonna read it." "Such a big one? Shouldn't you start reading something smaller?" "Mom, I'm not that dumb. I know how to read." "Okay, Ash." That left me with the problem of getting the book to my room. I tried carrying it, both physically and mentally, but both ways were too tiring. Finally, Pikachu asked wearily, "Why don't you just teleport it in there?" "That's a good idea." I teleported the book there, then floated up to the 2nd floor to make sure I actually had gotten it to the right place. Pikachu bounded up the stairs after me. Amazingly enough, I did manage to get it into my room. It ended up disturbing several objects, but I was still very pleased with myself. I sat down on the floor next to it and opened it up to the first page that talked about Muse. Pikachu sat next to me, and we read together. "Mew, said to be the rarest Pokemon in the world. Many legends have arisen from tales of this mystical Pokemon. Most claim that Mews are gifted with powers far beyond any Pokemon in the world. Some say they're even more powerful than every other Pokemon combined. They were said to be the most versatile Pokemon in the world, and were able to learn almost any attack. It is agreed by most that Mews are a cat-like creature, but some have said that Mews resemble humans even more. Most mythologists agree on the first theory. In many legends, Mews were said to be abundant hundreds and hundreds of years ago, but they died out or disappeared for some reason. This has been proven false, as no fossil records have been found showing any sign of the existence of Mews at any time, thereby classifying them as mystical creatures. I'm real. I know I am. Mewtwo's real too. We couldn't exist if Mews were just a myth. Mews are often portrayed as having a playful demeanor, but they are said to hold wisdom older than time itself, and live longer than all else combined. They often help other creatures rather than fight. It went on like that for a while. A lot of it I knew to be true, and a lot of it I knew had to be false, but there was so much more that I never thought of before. I didn't get very far the first time I read it. Pikachu got bored quickly and started amusing himself with other things in my room, but I couldn't stop reading. I read some parts over and over again, trying to make sense of it all. Richie came into the room shortly. We were sharing. There weren't enough rooms in the house for everyone to have their own. "Hi, Ash," he said. "Uh-huh. What are you reading?" "A book." "Oh, what's it about?" "Nothing." "Oh, so it's very interesting, huh?" "Yeah." "Do you know what time it is?" "Nope." "Oh, well, I'm going to sleep. Good night." "Aren't you?" "No." Do you mind if I turn off the light?" "No." You're gonna stop reading?" "No." How are you gonna see in the dark?" "I'll be okay." "If you say so." He clicked off the light, then got into my bed. Since I wasn't hurt anymore, I had let him have the bed. It was too big for me anyway, and besides, after sleeping in a cave, the floor of my room was a luxury. It was still easy to read, even with the light off. That was one of the good things about being a Mew, night vision. There are many legends that deal with Mews. The first one covered here is simply called The Legend of Mew. It's a commonly known fairy tale with no basis on reality. The version in this book was a little different from the one that Mayo and I had read in Professor Oak's lab, but the idea was still the same. I didn't appreciate the comment on how it had no basis on reality. This guy's trying to make me sound like a freak. I knew it wasn't true. Whoever had written that book had no idea that over 2 centuries later, a real Mew would be reading it. It's still making me sound like a freak. There were more legends and myths, but they were all just short stories about nothing important. I wanted something that actually was useful. I don't remember falling asleep, but I guess I did. Ashura, are you never gonna leave me alone? Ashura, the Mew who reads. And what's wrong with that? You'll never find what you're looking for. That doesn't mean I can't try. You'll never find what you're looking for in anything created by humans. What do you mean? The humans know nothing. They would not know reality if it slapped them in the face. They cannot help you. So who can? I can. Yeah, right. You don't believe me? I still don't know who you are. You could just be a figment of my imagination. I am not. Then who are you? Ashura, that's not who you are. No, I didn't say that. What? Then who are you? Shh. Just calm down, Ashura. No! I refuse to! Do not waste your energy, Ashura. You'll need it. I know that. But you do not understand what I'm telling you. No, I don't. You will soon see. How soon is soon? Ash, are you awake? What time did you go to bed? I don't know, I said finally. I still hadn't bothered opening my eyes. I was tired. I wanted to sleep. I guess I'll leave you, huh? Richie said finally. Guess so, I mumbled. Okay, see you later, Ash. Ash, wake up! I jumped into wakefulness. I looked up to see Misty glaring at me from the doorway. That May girl is here. She wants to see you. Oh, I'm kinda... Sleeping. Yeah, I know. Ash, do you have any idea what time it is? No. It's 11 o'clock! Now wake up! It's only 11? Ash! Okay, I'm awake, I said. I sat up and saw that I had been sleeping on the book. Is that what kept you up all night? Misty asked. Guess so. A book? Yeah. You? What? Yeah, me. I know how to read. Jeez, maybe you should get some more sleep. Well, I guess you can't do that, huh? Don't want to keep May waiting. Huh? It was too late. She had already left. What's with her? I glanced down at the book again. You'll never find what you're looking for. How does that person know what I'm looking for anyway? I picked up the book somehow and brought it downstairs with me. Mayo was sitting on the couch with Evie in her lap. Hi, Mayo, I said wearily. I then sat myself down on the couch next to her, set the book beside me, and almost dozed off. Looks like somebody didn't get enough sleep, she commented. When did you go to bed? What? Asha! What? Never mind. Never mind what? I was gonna ask you if you would help me start training Evie, but I guess now's not a good time? Huh? That answers my question. She eyed the book, then picked it up and flipped through it. Is this what kept you up all night? She asked. Didn't you already ask that? No. I thought you did. That was me. I looked up. Misty was walking through the room. Misty? What? There was something I needed to talk to her about. If only I could remember what it was. What are you guys doing anyway? Misty asked. What are we doing? I asked Mayo. I needed some pointers on how to raise Evie. It can evolve a lot of different ways, right? Which one is best? Oh, that's easy, Misty replied. Vaporeon's the best. You're just saying that because you like water Pokemon. Well, do you think Espeon would be a good choice? Mayo asked. I don't know. It's really up to you and Evie to decide. Just remember that before you decide what to do, you should really ask Evie what it thinks. Its decisions are even more important than yours. When I was thinking about evolving Pikachu, I asked first, and it said it didn't want to. But if it had wanted to, I would have let it. You should do the same with Evie. Let it decide what it wants to do. Mayo was silent for a moment. She looked down at Evie in her lap and started petting it gently. Misty smiled at me. The funny thing is, you knew that even before you became a Pokemon yourself. That's not funny. No one ever asked me if I wanted to evolve. You couldn't have evolved if you didn't want to, right? Just like Bulbasaur. What was that like? Mayo asked quietly. Huh? To evolve. Huh? What was it like? Yeah. It's hard to, what was it like? How am I supposed to... I guess I should be able to... It kinda hurt. It was kind of like there was some power that strengthened me and it came from inside of me and as if it had been there forever, and I was finally ready to come out. Did that make any sense? Kind of, Mayo said. Was it a good feeling? Misty asked. Huh? You know what I mean. I don't know. It's kind of hard to remember. That's okay, Ash. Right, May? Right, Mayo said. Okay. What do you want to evolve into, Evie? Mayo asked. Evie squeaked. I laughed. Evie sounds like it's not ready to evolve. That makes sense, Misty nodded. You just got it, right? Maybe it wants some time to get to know the way you train and think about different options. Yeah, that sounds right, Mayo said. Is that what you want to do, Evie? Evie nodded. Okay then, we'll just have to wait. Misty grinned slyly. Sounds like you're off to a better start than a certain Pokemon master in this room. Huh? She just kept smiling, got up, and left the room.